I never understood racism. Why hate others for things we can't control, like the color of our skin? To hate and bring harm to our fellow man for reasons outside of their control is just inhumane and cruel. That's why here in the streets of Rogue, we don't kill people for completely pointless reasons. Hold on a sec, is that guy over there wearing a different shirt color from me? Heresy! Sorry you had to see such subhuman filth desecrating our streets. Anyway, without any further ado, I'm Ian, and this is the Streets of Rogue Character Guide. The Crepes are a starting character in Streets of Rogue, meaning owning the game is all that is required in order to play them, whilst the Blahds have slightly higher requirements, needing you to kill 10 Crepes in a single run of the game before you are allowed to play them. As for their backstories, the Crepes, it reads thusly. Joined the Crepes after witnessing their father being murdered at the hands of the Blahds. Actually, it wasn't a Blahed, it was just a crazed naked man driven insane from a nasty sunburn. The Gangster probably needs to have their vision checked. And as for the Blahds, it reads, joined the Blahds after witnessing their father being murdered at the hands of a creep. Actually, it wasn't a creep, it was just a crazed naked man driven insane after falling into a vat of blueberries. This Gangster probably needs to have their vision checked. Given how the both of them have a 3 in firearms, I think it's safe to say they got around to getting their eyesight checked and got contact lenses or something. As for your other stats, they're an average of 2 across the board. This makes the Gangster characters great for those of you who want to mix and match different gameplay styles on a single playthrough of the game. This is exemplified by their starting items, a knife and a pistol for all your combat needs, as well as 2 friend phones to summon allies as you see fit. You also start with a boombox, perfect for those of you who want to distract a large group of NPCs for whatever reason, or if you just want to use a time bomb to become the Messiah. As for your starting traits, you start with the Team Building Expert trait, which allows you to have more than one follower at any given time. The Gangster characters particularly benefit from this trait specifically compared to other classes, since when you break a fellow gang member of your respective gang out of prison, they will automatically become a follower to you. If you can't find any prisons to break fellow gang members out of, don't worry, there's always the cloning booth. As you probably noticed, the differences between these characters are almost completely non-existent. In fact, the only difference between these characters, aside from some cosmetic tweaks so you can tell them apart at a glance, are the rivalry traits that make them hostile to each other. These traits are named Creep Crusher and Blood Basher respectively, and they work exactly as you expect. They make all NPCs of the opposing gang hostile to you while granting you bonus XP for killing them. And you better get comfortable with the idea of killing a bunch of people wearing different shirt colors than you, because you're gonna have to for your big quest. Speaking of which, let's get into that.
Hey! Riot!
Impressive.
Your big quest is called Turf War, where you must make sure every single member of the opposing gang is dead before moving to the next floor. This will result in awkward moments where you'll be required to bust NPCs out of jail, specifically so you can kill them yourself. If you manage to reach the mayor's village having done this quest correctly, all the gangs will become one, and all of them will be allied to you. Since the benefits of activating this big quest successfully largely don't affect you whatsoever once you reach the mayor's village, I'll tell you how to activate it after you've left the mayor's village. Step 1, go to home base. Step 2, talk to Mutator's guy. Step 3, enable the Super Special Abilities Mutator. This mutator allows you to access the benefits of having completed your big quest without actually needing to do it a second time. So long as you have completed the big quest before on the character on a previous run, and this mutator is activated, you can access the benefits of completing that character's big quest as much as you want. As for actually completing said big quest in the first place, thankfully with these characters, it's frankly rather easy, since all you have to do is hunt down NPCs wearing the opposite shirt color from you and kill them. They'll even be marked on your map once you find them with little orange arrows that you can teleport to later at your discretion. As a result of this, once you're properly geared out to the point where 3 gangsters shooting at you isn't a problem, this quest becomes trivially easy to solve. And if you're having trouble dealing with the gangsters, especially in the downtown and uptown areas, there's an easy trick you can use. Bait the enemy gang into fighting the police. This can be done rather easily since the opposing gang will always be hostile to you. As a result of this, as long as you're the one who got shot at first and the police saw you getting hit, they will come to your aid and finish off the enemy gang for you. The downside is you don't get any XP for killing them this way, but that's a small price to pay for having someone else do your dirty work for you. When playing the gang members, remember, certain buildings can sometimes end up having gang members spawn as natural security guards inside them. If this happens with whatever gang you decide to play as, the security guards and goons that actually ended up spawning in the building with the gang member will become allied with you. As a result of this, it's entirely possible for you to simply walk into a building, ask for the quest item, and then leave without having to pick a fight with the guards whatsoever. This, alongside the very nature of your big quest, makes you one of the best characters for going for an election victory. This is because the best way to get an election victory in the game is to simply kill as many hostile NPCs as possible, whilst also making as many NPCs friendly or allied to you as you can. With members of your own gang being naturally allied towards you, this means you have a solid voter base to work off of to make sure your election is secured, and your big quest facilitates you committing genocide against people who would vote against you effectively. Because of this, if you're going for an election victory and manage to grab the Friend of the Common Folk trait rather early in your run, it'll be near impossible for you not to be able to secure an election victory unless you're doing something horribly wrong. Like forgetting friendly fire is a thing in this game, because while your fellow gang members are allied to you, you can only punch them in the face so many times before they turn hostile. However, at the end of the day, the best advice I can give for those of you who want to play the gang members is to use your followers liberally. They can walk into a building and kill rival gang members or neutralization mission targets, whilst you deal with more important things like deciding what items you want to sell off at the sell-o-matics to free up some inventory space, or deciding between whether or not you want to restock on friend phones to replace your followers, or health packs to not need to have to replace said friends in the first place. And remember, when you have followers, you can actually hand off items in your inventory off to them so that they can top up their own health with healing items, or you can replace the weapons and armor they lost as they started fighting fights for you, because weapon durability is a thing that applies to both you and NPCs equally. Pro tip, red eyes mean that there's a shapeshifter inside that NPC, and those shapeshifters drop a ton of cash if you kill them. As a result of this, the most optimal play is to buy the item you want off the shopkeeper before killing them, and then killing them a second time as the shapeshifter pops out of their ass. If you're having trouble hunting down the shapeshifters after they pop out of their possessed targets' buttholes after you kill them, don't worry, the cops are innately hostile towards shapeshifters and will shoot them on sight, and they don't pick up any money from those they kill. All in all, I give the gangsters an all-rounder out of 10. They aren't the best at anything, but you know what they say. The jack of all trades is master of none, but they often know more than the master of one. That's all for now though. Like the video if you did, subscribe if you don't want to miss the next one, comment on what characters you want to see me cover in the future. I've been Ian, you have been you, and this has been the Streets of Rogue character guide to the Crepes and Blahds. And stay tuned, the zombie is coming up next.